grab some tissues and put on a pot of honey because it's time to talk about Christopher Robin. Here we go. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello everybody, welcome to Thumb Together. Today we're going to be talking about Christopher Robin together. At last, this movie is here. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Christopher Robin is a movie I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time because for a very, very long time, I have been quite a fan of the whole Winnie the Pooh canon, if you want to call it that. They're such simple stories. They're such innocent, harmless, small-scale stories, but they are an encapsulation of our childhood. They really are. The 100-Acre Wood is a microcosm for childhood as a whole. And when we grow up and we look back at the stories of Pooh and all that, it really sort of unlocks something primal in us. It unlocks the yearning for simpler times and for happier times. And every Pooh thing, every Pooh movie, book, etc., anything with Winnie the Pooh's face on it, sort of has that effect, at least on me, and on, a bunch of people I know who are even bigger. Like, there are hardcore Pooh fans out there. And, there's that beautiful classic A.A. Milne story where Pooh is talking to Christopher Robin and they're sitting by that tree. Christopher Robin's going to grow up soon and he's going to leave the 100-Acre Wood, and Pooh tells him, even when you're gone, I'm never going to forget you because you're my best friend. Which is sort of, the writer's way of telling us, the audience, don't forget these wonderful golden years. Don't, they're behind you now, but don't forget them because they are important. They were formative for you. And the movie here starts off with that scene. It starts off with Christopher Robin playing with his toys, and he's a little boy, and blah, 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 and they're having fun, and he's about to be sent off to boarding school, because that's what, British kids had to go through back at the turn of the century. It wasn't fun. And he realizes, he's not going to be playing in the 100-Acre Wood anymore. And he tells this to Pooh and the others, and they're sad to see him go, but nobody is sadder than Pooh himself. And they have that great back and forth where it's like, you know what? I'm never going to forget you, even though, you're probably not going to be around as much anymore. And that's the prologue, and then we get into the movie from there. As a person who was really, really looking forward to Christopher Robin, I was worried about how they would handle all of this. I was worried that it would try to be too modern or too funny. I had a feeling they were going to try to tip the scales in some direction and end up going overboard with it. But I think I am happy to say that that's not the case here, and that what we have with Christopher Robin is a movie that is nothing short of excellent. This is like Hook if Hook was good. I'm sorry. Don't hate me, y'all. Don't hate, but I didn't like Hook. I'm sorry. Sue me. Except Rufio. Rufio's alright. As you can tell if you've seen the trailers or even just looking at this poster here, Christopher Robin has grown up. He's a man now. He's an adult. He's got a wife. He's got a daughter. And he is a businessman, as we are constantly reminded of by the fact that he's always carrying around that briefcase. He has grown up in every sense of the word, and he has lost his sense of fun and his sense of magic and wonder and all that fun stuff. He's not a kid at heart. And that's sad, because his wife is a kid at heart, and his daughter is obviously a kid in every sense of the word. So his family is kind of drifting apart from him. He's spending more and more time at work. He's forgotten what it's like to play, to have fun. He doesn't even really laugh anymore. This looks like a job for Winnie the Pooh, and it is. What I love is that the 100-Acre Wood itself sort of changes depending on Christopher Robin. And that is beautiful because it is a product of his imagination. So, when he's happy and he's with all the toys and he's playing around and everything's jolly and fun, the 100-Acre Wood is a bright, sunshiny place to be. But when he goes in there as an adult and all he can think of is, I have to get my business papers in order. The 100-Acre Wood is covered in fog and it's gloomy and it's so dark you can barely see a foot in front of your face, and it's actually kind of freaking scary. And I thought that was a beautiful touch. It's not just, here are some woods. The end. It's a place that, magic has made real, yes, but it's also, the foundations of it are dependent on the foundations of Christopher Robin in order to survive. So if he is not in the right mindset, the 100-Acre Wood knows that, and it's going to shake things up a bit. And I wasn't expecting that. at all. I wasn't expecting the wood itself to kind of be a character in that way. And that's just another one of the many, many great things that this movie does, on top of all the other things. The toys, let's talk about the toys. The toys are everything you could have dreamed of. They're all there. Even Kanga, Roo, the owl, the rabbit, I even forgot there was a rabbit. It's been so long. And then the rabbit popped up and I'm like, oh yeah, shit, there's a rabbit. And they are all spot on. Brad Garrett is doing the voice of Eeyore and he almost steals the show. Eeyore is so funny in this. But I say he almost steals the show because at the end of the day, guys, the star of this movie is Winnie the friggin' Pooh. That bear, you cannot watch a single frame of this movie that has the bear in it without just a big old dopey grin on your face. He's just that kind of character, man. He just does that to you. He just makes you want to smile. He makes you want to laugh. And when Pooh is sad, my God, that translates. I saw this at a late showing, so I was in a theater full of adults. There were no children in this theater, but every adult was laughing their head off when funny stuff was happening, and conversely getting all quiet and choked up when the sad stuff was happening. And there is sad stuff happening in this movie. I used the hashtag prepare to cry to get you here. You probably will cry. I got teary-eyed, of course, but it's actually not as heavy of a tearjerker as I was expecting. I went into this expecting something Toy Story 3-ish. Like I was expecting them to just hit us in the heart. They got close, but they didn't quite get there. So if you're worried about messing up your mascara or whatever, you might be okay. But having said that, yeah, there are parts in this movie, man, between Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh, obviously, that are going to mess you up emotionally just a little bit. At least just for the duration of the film. It's not going to linger with you like Toy Story did, but it's going to leave you a little bit of a mess. Now, of course, the very obvious moral of this story is to never stop playing, to never stop having fun. Yeah, I guess you could say they beat you over the head with this moral, but it's done in so many wonderful ways that it doesn't really feel like, there's never a point where I'm like, okay, I get it. You want Christopher Robin to have fun again. I never felt that way. It was told to us several different times, but in several different ways. Even Christopher Robin's wife says to him at one point, he's always talking about, oh, if I work really hard, then our life can be great and blah, 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 blah. And she looks him in the eye and she's like, Christopher, our life is great and it's happening right now. Look around. This is your life. Hello, I'm right here. And that's such a realistic way for a person to communicate that, frame of mind to another. And then, of course, when the toys get into it, that's when it gets really emotional because Christopher Robin is not, he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to imagine things. He doesn't want to run through the wood and get dirty. He's just complaining the whole time. And Pooh is listening to his complaints, and Pooh feels like it's him who's doing something wrong because Christopher Robin's not happy. And that's where you get the sad moments, but that's where you also get the beautiful lessons that are inherent in a story like this. And yes, they are very obvious lessons. I mean, like I said, Hook is a thing that exists already, so we all know this story. It's a classic story of an adult who needs to not grow up again. It's like the Bizarro World version of Billy Madison. But I think that's why this movie resonated so much with me, is because that philosophy of, grow up and learn and mature, but never stop playing. Because the second you stop enjoying your life, then you're not even really living. That is something that is very near and dear to my heart. Couple that with the fact that, A, Winnie the Pooh was a big part of my childhood. I used to love watching Winnie the Pooh. And B, as a kid, my best friend was my teddy bear too. In fact, I still have him. This is him right here. I've had him for 31 years now, and yet he may not be in the best shape in the world anymore, but he's still around because I understand the importance of toys like this. I understand that they are not just toys sometimes. Sometimes they are reminders of who we were and who we still should be. And that if everybody was mature, but still kept the qualities that were so beautiful about when they were a kid, if everybody did that, if everybody does what Christopher Robin does in this movie and what Peter Pan does at the end of Hook, I truly believe that the world would be a much better place for it. And see, he agrees with me. Whether you have kids or whether you just still are a kid, I think you owe it to yourself to watch this movie and get that nice little reminder of what life is really all about. And this is not, I wouldn't say this is an A+, 10 out of 10 absolute masterpiece, but it is very damn good. And it's not a movie I'll be forgetting anytime soon either. So that is Christopher Robin. I highly highly recommended no matter what age you are, outside or in. That's Thumb Together. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Andrew Fantasia. I will see you here next time, and until then, adios.